So you
That
don't
is
know
the
whether or not it would be the right thing to do to stop all pedophiles.
objectively correct. Yeah, that's objectively true and moral and consistent with the Christian viewpoint.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you hear me right?
Yeah, how old are you?
I am in my 20s.
Sure. And are you a Christian?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say that you know the identity and location of every pedophile in the world, and you have the power to leave an anonymous tip to every police station just informing them what's up. Would you do that?
Yes, under this circumstance, yes, I would.
Okay. Would God do that? If God had the knowledge and power to inform every police station of the identity of every pedophile in the world, would God do that?
Am I speaking on behalf of God
I just want to
here?
know if God would do that if like given the opportunity.
So I'm speaking on behalf of God, correct?
Yeah, but we can like deduce what God would do, right? If
Can we
God
make
did it,
deduce of what
then
God
this
would
would have
do?
happened already. But the fact that it hasn't happened means that God wouldn't do it.
Yes. So that's where I like to get to. So God wouldn't do that, right?
Yep.
The difference between the difference between people and God, what's the difference between those two, to your understanding,
Uh,
right?
some people are real and God is fictional, in my understanding.
Okay. Okay. So the understanding on the Christian view is if we're talking about, God the Father, God is the creator of everything,
Hmm.
correct? Yes. So under this precept mind of the creator, we have to believe in an absolute truth because that is what God has defined for his character. And that is what Christians are to adhere to. Correct.
Hmm. So
All right.
your ethics are relative
How are my ethics relative?
because
When I
you're
just said
saying
it was
that God would
absolute?
do one thing and that we would do a different one. Maybe a clarifying question. So we disagree with God about the right thing to do. We would do it, God would not do it. Who's right? Who does the right thing? Is it us or God?
Say it again one more time for me.
Yeah. So if we had the opportunity to notify every police station, the knowledge of every pedophile, we would do that. God wouldn't do that
Yes.
if given the exact same opportunity. So who does the right thing? Is it us or is it God?
In the Christian moral viewpoint, it would be God because he
Okay,
knows everything.
sure. So you would say that in fact the right thing to do, if given the opportunity to notify every police station of the identity of every pedophile, is to not do that.
Coming with the idea that if I gain that ability, do I also gain the inherent intelligence of God and everything that came with this creation?
No, you just have the knowledge of who these people are and the ability to leave the tips.
Then I absolutely would do it.
Yeah, but God wouldn't do it in the exact same situation. So if God always does the morally perfect thing, then that means that notifying the police is the wrong thing to do.
I don't think that's a one-to-one conclusion.
It is. If ethics are objective, if God is the moral standard and this is what God does, then you'd have to say that the right thing to do is to not notify the police.
I think you're getting confused atheist moral ethics and Christian ethics because
No?
we as people are incapable of being perfect, right? We strive to be good, but we will never reach it, right? That is why Christ's death is so important and impactful to us.
Did
So
you or
this
did you
this
not say that the correct thing to do is to not notify the police?
the correct thing, if I was in my shoes, if I was given, right, with your
Hmm.
question, if I was given the ability to notify all the police, I would if I was given just that
Hmm.
ability.
And is that the
Correct.
objectively right thing to do?
Objective is absolute, and determined in God's will, right?
So is that the objectively right thing to do?
The question comes down to discernment into God's will. If I
Is
have that
that the
ability,
objectively right thing to do?
you're on a broken dial here.
Because
Like
you're not answering. Either
I'm
notifying
not.
the police the identities of all the pedophiles is the right thing to do or it isn't. Which one is it?
I think you're doing a logical fallacy. I think you're pinning right now
I don't know what that means. I'm just
because
going to ask the question until I
pinning.
get the
Hey, I'll tell
answer.
you. I'll tell you what it means. Pinning means to pin accurately in a debate intellectually. You must have all of the outside variables predeterminately true and absolutely known. Since I do not know God's character through and through because I am not God, I could not accurately, objectively say that question. It's a pin. It's a catch 22. So I
Oh,
would
you
just
mean
have
like
to,
a dilemma?
essentially, yeah, I wouldn't be able to accurately respond to that question
You don't know whether
because
or
you're
not
making a
the
yes or no.
objectively morally correct thing to do is to notify the police about the whereabouts of every pedophile in the world? You're not sure if that's the right
What
thing
I'm
to do?
what I'm telling you is that I would if I was placed in that
But is
scenario.
that the right thing to
But
do?
the right thing to do is something that only God's character knows. So
Sure.
I say I don't know.
So you
That
don't
is
know
the
whether or not it would be the right thing to do to stop all pedophiles.
objectively yeah, that's objectively true and moral and consistent with the Christian viewpoint.
I think that's absurd.
Because I believe, because if you look right, all right, so God values each and every single human life equally, right? Your life is no better than Hitler's life in God's eyes. Do you understand that? Is
Sure.
that something you can say you understand? Okay.
Yeah, like
This
some like
is,
sort of like human level. Yeah, we have like the same intrinsic human value, sure.
yes. And since he values us all equally, me as a person whom has been placed on this planet has presupposed bias due to sin, and I'm unable to accurately say what God is able to do and not able to do. The question that is painted here sets Christianity up in an illogical pin. It might work for atheism because it's relative, but Christianity is not relative. It stands
No,
on
my
absolute
ethics are
truth.
objective.
Your ethics are objective and your own
Yeah,
relative. Okay, so how about this? How about a thought experiment, right? So let's
yeah,
say all of these ethics that you're willing to die on right now,
yeah.
correct?
I will always
So
die on the hill. I'll die on the hill today, tomorrow, the day after that, that in
that's
fact raping
that's
children
awesome.
is bad and that if I could stop every pedophile in the world, I would. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So let's say that another man comes upon the scene. He's got a higher IQ than you. He's got more intelligence than you do, and he has a better understanding personally and experientially with all of the things regarding pedophiles. And he says, instead of killing all pedophiles, how about we castrate every single pedophile?
I didn't say kill all pedophiles. I just
All
said
right,
notify the
okay.
police.
Notify the police. We'll
Yeah.
notify the police of all pedophiles, right?
Hmm.
And then we'll leave it to the judiciary system, right?
Sure.
Okay. So let's say he says, "All right, let's all group together and castrate all of pedophiles." And he goes through the judiciary system, and that's what the agreed thing to do is,
Sounds good.
right? So, with you and your understanding, I see. Okay. So, yeah, you did a good call saying that you would notify the police because then by then you were going through the judiciary system. But the point that I was trying to make is that if a more accurate and sort of stable uh, area of ethics were to emerge, you as a relative thinker would
No, I'm
have
a
to
moral
shift
realist again for the second time. I'm a moral objectivist. I think morals are objective.
that are objective and like under what pretense that like what
Yeah.
pretense is that?
So I'm an agent. What that means is that I have goals and I take actions to achieve these goals, but a necessary precondition for my agency is my freedom and well-being. I can't take any actions or achieve any goals without it. What that means, because it's a necessary condition, that means that I have a reason to have it. That is to say that I
Okay.
ought have it. And if I ought have it, others ought not interfere with it. And if others ought not interfere with it, then I have a right to it just on the basis of the fact that I'm an agent. But because my agency is sufficient for me to have this right to freedom and well-being, then every agent must equally have this right to freedom and well-being. Thus, every agent has a right to freedom and well-being. Pedophilia categorically violates people's rights to freedom and well-being insofar as children can't consent.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. That was a very strong definition, and it's the first time I'm hearing it. So give me a second to take all of that.
Yep. Well, I just think
I will.
so. The TLDR: everyone has a right to freedom and well-being, a moral right to freedom and well-being.
Yes, yes, everyone's right. Yes. Okay. So awesome, sweet. Um, Forming my argument here, the perspective that I'm trying to come with, at least with the majority of atheists, and I'm not going to rope you into this because again, I just learned your stance on it. I'm
Hmm.
gonna go do more research on it. Maybe
Yep.
come back. Just want to say you're doing an awesome job hosting.
Hey, thanks.
Uh, yeah. Um, but under a massive pretense of atheist, right? People can be atheists for different reasons. Similar to Christianity. People can claim to be Christians, but in reality, there aren't, right? Because there's an absolute truth that they have to abide to. But with
Mhm.
atheism, that absolute truth is very loosey goosey. It's not as absolute or adhered to in the sense that it is with like religion, right? People can claim to be atheists, but really little do they know they're agnostic. Um,
I suppose. But if somebody disagrees with my ethics, I'm just going to say that they're wrong and then I'm going to present the argument.
yeah, yeah, and that's completely understandable. Um, I will say with the original topic, uh, I think I said my piece on it.
Yep.
I obviously know that I'm not going to be able to change your opinion like over live like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I just wanted to give here and give it a swing just so you can see the understanding of where Christians come from.
Yep.
Because
Uh,
yeah,
I think that saying I don't know to that question is like on face, like extremely absurd.
I
I
mean,
think the answer to the question is just obvious.
I think it is objectively because we have to be careful with our words, right? Objective means that is truth.
Yeah.
And remember, we're dealing with Christianity. This is an absolute truth. This is
Yeah.
something that everything is adherently pointing to. And what's very, very careful about absolute truth, especially when in regards to God and his character, is because he's a creator and has created everything. When we are the ones of creation, we will never know the extent of God's knowledge. We will never be able to get there, right? So, because we do not know that, it is extremely difficult, and I would say ignorant, or I wouldn't say ignorant actually. I'd say that it would just be extremely difficult and extremely dishonest in a way to say something objectively on behalf of the words of God, right? Because he himself clearly hasn't killed or done any of that. And he's done that for a reason. I don't know what that reason is. I wish I did know because I'd tell you, but I don't know. But because I have faith in Christ and I have faith in him and the standing that he has, and it is logically concurrent from the position that I'm standing on, then I'm that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make of ignorance. I'm not able to know as creations, we're not supposed to know everything about the universe. We will never be able to. And you can agree with that too. We'll never understand every single last bit and piece about the
Yeah, but I
universe.
think we know that like pedophilia is bad. And
Yes,
that
and I
if
agree.
given well, I know that
I
you're saying that you agree, but you don't know if like stopping all pedophiles would be the right thing to do.
Yes, yes.
I think
Objectively
those
speaking,
statements
that
are
is
at
the
odds with
answer.
each other, right? I think pedophilia is like one of the worst things that you could do. And if given the opportunity to stop all of them, I would stop them all in a heartbeat. I think it's strange that you're not sure what you would do.
But what's interesting is how you said that pedophilia is one of the worst things you could possibly do as a
Yeah.
person, right? But if we look around, there's genocides and everything going along in the world right now, and pedophilia is one of the worst. But is it the worst?
I
Right?
probably wouldn't say that it's the worst. I think
Okay.
like a double like fucking pedophilia, murder, like torture to death would probably be worse than just
Yeah.
pedophilia.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, where it's coming down to is that you have tier systems of what is bad,
Hmm.
and Christianity is on or off. It is true or wrong. And all people, at the end of the day,
Hmm.
are wrong and bad. Pedophilia is just as bad as killing somebody, as just as bad as looking at another lustfully. They are
That's
all
false. That's
bad.
super false. That's extraordinary.
Under,
That's like the falsest
listen,
thing I've ever
listen,
heard.
yeah, that's I'm speaking on behalf of the Christian view. You could say it's false all you want to. A chimpanzee can come out here and call the grass blue and say it's blue all day long, but he can be wrong too. You could stand on your moral view and disposition and you can disagree with all your heart.
Can I
But
get
all
a
I'm saying,
clarification on that? So
well, with the
you can only
chimpanzee,
you can only stop one of these things. So you know that somebody is like molesting a child and is will like start torturing them to death in room A, and then in room B there are two people looking at a woman lustfully, and you have the power to make that stop. Which room you gonna go into?
me as where I stand as a Christian right now, I would say that I would go into the room with the pedophilia and things going on.
But isn't it twice as bad the room where two people are staring lustfully?
It's bad. It's not twice as bad. There is no modifier with sin. It's a -1 to a function. It makes it negative. It's
I thought
bad.
they were the same level of badness. Did I not just hear that?
Yeah, they are the same level of badness. If two people are doing bad, it's bad at the end of the day. Is it not? Is it not?
Then why would you choose to stop the pedophilia as opposed to the lustful watching?
They're both bad. Are they not both bad?
I disagree that looking at a woman lustfully, some situations it is bad. I agree with that. But
In that
definitely there
situational
are
and
situations where
accord,
it's not bad. But I'm just asking, so you think pedophilia is equivalent to looking at a woman lustfully? So how could you justify your decision to go and stop the pedophilia instead of going to stop the guy who's looking at a woman lustfully?
that comes down to discernment, which is of Christian faith. You've read the Bible.
But if
I,
they're the
I
same
heard you say that you
badness,
read the
how do you make the
Bible.
decision?
It's of discernment. Do you know what discernment is
Yeah,
in
it's just
Scripture?
like you're able to discern like the relevant features of it. But if they're the same level of badness because they're both sinful, then it seems like you'd have to evaluate them as equivalent. It seems like the only way you could possibly choose is by flipping a coin. If they're equally as bad, then there's no reason to favor stopping one over stopping the other.
And there isn't. There truly isn't. I'm just
So
saying
if
what
I went
I
and
would
stopped
do as
the
a person.
okay, if I went and
That's
stopped like
yeah.
the guy looking lustfully instead of stopping the pedophile, would that be like morally acceptable?
Okay, say it one more time for me because there was a
Yeah,
thing that
let's
came
say
by.
I'm in the situation and I say I'm gonna go stop the guy looking lustfully at a woman. Stop that. Knock that off. No.
Yeah, I
Instead of
see.
stopping the pedophile. Did I do something wrong?
I wouldn't say so. No, you went and you pulled somebody. Well, again, this is getting really deep into Christian theology because very simple things are very complex features, like theologically speaking, here with Christianity. And I'm not trying to jump you into that rabbit hole of all that, but over senses applying to these parameters here that if one person's doing something bad, sinning, one person's doing something bad, sinning, inevitably, yes, it does not matter which side you go to. But to that person using their discernment, they're going to pick one regardless. Inevitably, at the end of the day, the true correct answer is that you should go into both rooms, but that wasn't an option given, right? But you should go into both rooms and stop it. But following under these parameters, it wouldn't matter which room you would go into. By this, by this pre-notion sense that we have of of an understanding of God's character.
Yeah, I think that's absurd. I think most people think that's absurd. Digital J, thanks so much for the galaxy. Appreciate it.
And
Do you have any closing thoughts? Otherwise, I'm
um,
probably gonna move on to the next one, but I appreciate the conversation.
oh yeah, no, it was intellectually stimulating. It was
Yep.
cool.
Hey, thanks for coming
It's good.
on.